We're here at PressConf 2025. I am with Raquel, the lead organizer of the event. Raquel, what'd you think? How'd it go?
I thought it went overwhelmingly well and too well. I almost feel like, oh, damn it, how do we top this? Because it went really, really, really well.
I have some ideas for making it better. It was incredible, though.
Okay.
No, it was amazing. What was your favorite talk?
Oh, I could no sooner choose a favorite star. Sorry. Okay. A favorite. I'm really bad with favorites because I'm like a legit one of those who like has a lot of favorites. So I'm gonna like workshop this with you a little bit. Like I love the vulnerabilities and when people get real raw with our talks. Maybe Remkiss, just because I know him really well and I felt the weight of his service and sacrifice to me. And not that this is about me, but when I asked him to speak, I was like, get up there and share from your heart and be real and raw. And he did. And anybody knows Remkiss, he is a big, tall Dutch strongman. And when you see this burly man cry, that always just gets me to my soul. So in the sense of favorite, when it comes to, I guess, what pierces my soul, that's a good way I could come at this than Remkiss.
There was a lot of lead up to PressConf, highly anticipated event. In a way, I guess I'm asking, like, what was your expectation versus reality? Because you had the context of PressNomics coming into this. This is the rebirth. Did it go how you expected? Were there elements even weeks before that fell into place that surprised you? What do you think?
There were elements weeks before that surprised me in a bad way.
Oh, no.
There were denials of speakers, really high-profile speakers that we thought were going to happen, and it didn't. And so that was a bad surprise. I would say when you look at the trajectory of low and high, there really wasn't a lot of low. But the lowest was probably maybe 6 weeks ago, or was it 5 or 6 weeks ago? And it just was disappointing news, but nothing was detrimental ever. So, and I feel like that's part of what makes this kind of hard to top is that most of it was so smooth. There was a lot of like overwhelm because there was a lot to do, and I had to do a lot, and that's just no matter what you have a lot on your to-do list. That's overwhelming, but it was everybody knew their talents. Everybody stayed in their lane, if not helped other people in their lane. The team was small and lean, and it did exactly what they're supposed to do. And I don't really feel like I have a good answer because most of it was exactly what it was supposed to be. But when you have experienced people who are put into this role, they implement and they just know what to do. So even through the lowest point, we just like immediately knew how to move forward.
Yeah, you have a lot of experience organizing events. I know from my perspective, I was checking the attendees page in the weeks leading up to it, and it seemed like the last 2 or 3 weeks, a lot of people got added. So that's where my head was at with that question is like, wow, it seems like a lot of high quality attendees jumped on sort of at the last minute. But I was just blown away by the quality of the attendees here.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone and just like the best people in WordPress. So that was incredible. What do you think is next for 2026?
I was just thinking about that. Like, well, how can you not think about it? And definitely the whole week, almost daily, the orgs and I were just having like little check-ins of what to do next year. But today, I definitely had this thought of, oh my God, how are we going to top this? Like, I almost not a fan that there's so much positive feedback because I just feel like, what am I going to do next year now? Like, because you want it to get better, you know? And again, that's pretty generalistic because there's definitely ways to improve. And even off the bat, I could think of little ways to improve. But overall, it just went so well. And that was the question, right? Is what are we already thinking about doing next year that's better?
Yeah, I mean, in both a sense of maybe improving things, but also what are your aspirations for next year?
Okay, yeah. So aspirations are that it is better, or that like people come back and they're very much in agreement that it's exactly what they expected. So especially for like new people who've never been, that they're like, oh wow, this is exactly what they said, you know? Um, I would, I do have some ideas where I want to change the schedule a little bit,
Mm.
add some more space for more networking, a little bit like make it like more padded. And that's where I'm at right now. There's a lot that still needs some processing, but
Are there plans for PressConf to go global?
yeah, the I would say yes. There's no at the end of the day, unless there's actual like signed contracts, there's no such thing,
Sure.
But that is what I would desire. I do want to have PressConf every year, and there are talks of bringing PressConf to other continents, and I'm open to it. But there's also one of me, and it's going to take some planning and organizing and capital to
Yes. Yeah.
to like employ people to help essentially. So Raquel would love to do that. That's definitely what I would love to do with this. But it takes money and time. So
Yeah, I heard you say in a past interview that you're wanting to be a solo operation for the next few years. You think you could probably handle maybe 2 events like this a year?
I think I can handle 2 events, and with contracted help, but I'm starting to see that even this one, I would like to do more for my organizers. So we'll see. I, in fact, I was telling Adam the other day, because there's a lot of talks now, and 5 times this week alone, someone's like, "Hey, so and so is going to reach out to you because they want to run an idea by you," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I alone cannot do that." And I was like, Adam, what am I going to do? And he's like, "You're going to build a team." And I was like, "Shut up! Don't tell me that yet. I was supposed to be by myself for 2 years." So I don't know. We'll see. I'm a very open person, and I love taking things as they come and reiterating as you need. So I'm very open, but I know I want to do this.
Do you have the same perspective on WonderlandCurious after PressConf that you did before? Do you still want to take on clients, do events for other people, or are you thinking, wait a minute, maybe this is like, let's just go huge with PressConf and expand to Europe or other continents and focus solely on that?
Now I do.
Mm,
Now that you said it, I'm just
okay.
kidding. Um, I I feel like if anything, what has opened up my mind a little bit is that was the plan all along, was to be a consultant, but that PressConf would be my baby. But the need and the space for PressConf is big right now, and I already know it's a proven product that works and is important and valuable to our community. And so now I'm like, why hire myself out, and not, instead of just do what is mine and bring it to the world? So I'm definitely pro that. And I think that's sustainable. But I also have the other aspect of WonderlandCurious, which is group travel. And I still very much want to do that. Those are very special, intimate, small, tiny, tiny, tiny events, like 20 people max sort of event. So maybe it's that I just take PressConf global, like you said, and still do those small events. And I'm a big fan of filling up my time to the point to where this is what I can do. I can bring PressConf to the world, and that's all I got time for. I would be cool with that. But I guess we'll see. I need to sort of take next week and do nothing. I think I need to take maybe a lot of May and do a little bit of life, get caught up on life a little bit, and chill and have a lot of reflection time, read, and then see what my next move is.
You took a big risk quitting your job, going all out on WonderlandCurious. What advice would you have for someone in that same position? Maybe they're thinking about a big career change. They want to make that jump. They're just scared to do it.
How many times have we heard that question? You know what I mean? And we hear the answers, and it's the same answer. And it's usually be brave and just do it. And it's so simple, and it makes so much sense when you actually just do it. But practical steps, I would say, are therapy for real. Because when you get therapy, or like even like a biz coach or a life coach, you learn practical steps of how to move forward, how to take those steps. And there was a lot of catalysts. Okay, maybe not a lot of catalysts, a lot of events and a few catalysts that helped me make this decision. And it was, to say be brave, it doesn't even do it justice. It was a lot. It was a lot of bravery, a lot. And even when I did it, like when I launched PressConf, I was still with Elegant Themes. And once we launched ticket sales, it became clear as day I could not do both. And I just started to just recognize I had to let it go. And that was so unbelievably scary, because it's like you're on a backpacking trip. No, it's like you're now a nomadic backpacker, and you're insisting on bringing all this canned food and bottled water, instead of just trusting that the food will show up along the way and that the good, clean water will show up along the way. And I needed to do that. And that was not remotely easy. That was scary. And I guess I just don't want to hear that blanket, like, just be brave, because it takes a lot of scary bravery. And so, yes, just be brave, but talk to people, learn, like I said, therapy, create action steps, and just do it. And, for me, that first step was just having a conversation with my CEO and just saying, I got to do this. And I'm crying the whole time. He's thinking I'm weirdo, And then even when that I knew I was no longer going to get that salaried paycheck from the company, you just trust that it's going to work. And what's very interesting is I did this in 2010 when I first started my WordPress agency that I didn't mean to start. And it was an accident. I always joke that I was an accidental entrepreneur, but the same exact thing. And yet you forget. And there I was again, making that choice. And yet in the past, I remember saying in January 1, 2010, made this choice to start this agency. And then the moment you were able to pay your mortgage, you're like, this is going to work. And then here I am, umpteen years later, in that same exact position. It's as if I never went through it, and it was all over again, starting from the beginning. And the same thing happened. I made the step and was able to pay rent. So be brave, consult with people and just do it. Which, as I said earlier, I hate hearing, but it is what you got to do.
It's almost like relationship advice. People will say, well, how do you know they're the one? And someone who's already married will say, you'll just know. No one wants to hear that. It's like, what do you mean? But it's like the same concept. It's like, you just got to jump and do it.
And I feel like that's very applicable as well, because it's almost the same thing. I had two businesses in my life, and I am not married, but I was married. And then now you think about how you would know to move forward with someone, and it's kind of the same scary exact steps that you completely forget about. So shut up, Christian.
What's something you would say to someone in 2026? They're looking at attending PressConf. They're looking at all the WordPress events, WordCamp, weighing the pros and cons. They're not sure if PressConf is right for them. What would you say to those people?
I would say do a value analysis. What do you want? What are your goals? I still very much appreciate WordCamps And I think they're absolutely needed and gorgeous for our open source space. They provide first experiences for speakers and getting awareness around marginalized individuals, and that's important. And I would love to see actually more of that at PressConf, but you have to do a values analysis because you have to see the value of smaller but more directly targeted attendees. The value of really deep, hard conversations. Do you want that? Are you ready for that? Because not everybody is. And what do you want to do with your agency, with your product? Or maybe you're a freelancer. You very much have a place here at PressConf, but you have to see the value, because it's not, and it's not about making it unachievable, but because it's such an intense process and very full, very emotionally full. Both days were emotionally full. Someone has to see that value. That value has to be important to them to want to move forward. So I would say do that. Like, see if that's the value. See everything that's on Twitter, post blogs, and just the general consensus of what you're hearing from others. And if you want that, then make it happen, and we'll be here.
Yeah, I know I've not walked away from an event feeling this inspired and empowered in quite a while. And it's because I attended the talks. Normally at WordCamps, I'm doing the hallway track. So I had a lot less meetings. So if your goal is just have as many meetings as possible, close as many deals as possible, PressConf may not be the event for that, or maybe not the best event for that. But if you really want to be in the trenches with other business owners, hear the problems they're having, the solutions they're finding, I can highly recommend PressConf, because I don't even have a WordPress product, but I walked away just hearing business owners that are further along than I am going, wow, I have so much to go home and implement in my business.
And the relationships, right? Like,
yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like even if you're not even sure, even if you think you're not part of the cool kids club, that has nothing to do with it, because you're going to meet so many people and you're going to have deep conversations. And that is where I just am convinced the magic lies. Because it's not about whether or not we can do business together, we can exchange and have a transaction. It's about, let's get to know each other. And now we have a trusted connection for the rest of our lives. And maybe business will happen in the future. But at the end of the day, if business never happens, now you have an amazing human you have a connection with.
Yeah.
How do we not want that? Like, that's what I want. That's why I do this. Yes, it's going to propel business. That's natural. That's given. But you're going to have trusted connections. And we need that more than ever in this world, in this life that we're in right now. In 2025, we need trusted connections full of love. I said it. and I believe in that. And that's what I want to see here.
It's almost like WordCamps are like speed dating, because there's so many people there. Just boom, 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 boom. But here you can really form those deep relationships.
Yeah. You sound like someone who's in that space right now. Dating space. Not to put you on the spot, Christian.
I've been single for life, so.
I've been single for a long time too, so maybe that's why I'm saying that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anything else you'd like to add?
I don't know. I guess just that PressConf, there was so much that it took to bring it to life, and it was such a labor of love and so worth it. And I really want this to be about people in our community. And I believe in WordPress, and I want it to last. And I really encourage people that if you agree, and even if you're unsure, but if you look at the bottom line and you want to see WordPress continue, then you should come and be a part of this.
Awesome. Well, Raquel, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. Be here, PressConf 2026. Be there, be square, whenever and wherever it is. Stay tuned. Amazing. Thanks again.
You're welcome.